Hi guys! So today I figured I could show you a little bit how I do my brows. I have a new favorite brow product that I just think everyone should use. Obviously it depends on how you want your brows to be, but I just love it. And so I'm going to show you a bit how I do my brows. I have done my base and I have done a bit of mascara. I have a little bit on my lips, just like bit of a pink lip liner and the Linda Hallberg oil. I have done a tutorial on how I do my base. That will be the video before this one. So yeah, I'm not going to go too much into that. So I'm just going to show you about my brows. So for my brows, I want them to be natural but defined. So I combine both a shadow and a brow tint is what it's called. It's called Shape and Shade Brow Tint by MAC. So it's basically a marker. Mine is a bit wonky because I've been using it a lot. And you draw, I'm not very good at this, sorry. You draw individual hairs, basically. And it's a bit see-through in consistency, meaning that it won't get too hard, but you can still get a very clear definition. So I really like this product. It's very easy to use and it stays on really well. But lately I have been going in with a little bit of eyeshadow as well, just in the front, because sometimes I feel like it can get a bit hard in the front here. But a lot of days I might just use that as well. So I'm gonna use a little bit of a shadow from the Linda Hallberg palette, the First Infinity palette. So I'm using the one called Cigar to see how that works for me. This will be my first time using it. So I just start with combing through my brows. Just to see what I'm working with, and then I just go in with color. So I do fill in a little bit in my tail as well. So I just get a guide for when I'm filling in with the marker. Not really a lot though. I kind of draw hairs with this as well, but quite softly. It doesn't have to look like hairs. I'm not really trying very hard to get it to look like hairs. I just want the product to move in the same direction as my hair is growing. So if I wanted something really, really soft, I could stop here. But I want a bit more definition. So in my case, I have more hair in the front of the brow, or in the middle of the brow, and then a little here. And it's a bit sparse under here, so I kind of cut that corner so that I get a fuller brow, because my brows actually grow all the way down here. I'm working it a little bit back and forth to kind of get it in between the hairs. And then I'm just going to comb my brows up a bit more to see where I need more. And so for now I'll be stopping here with the shadow. Because most of the definition I will be making with the marker. So now I'll go in with the marker. You might need to shake this a little bit because it separates. And so for the color to show up correctly, shake it a bit. And especially when it's new, it might take a while for it to kind of get started. It will be a lot more see-through in the beginning, so just give it some time. And I like, again, to start in the tail of the brow and make those hairs. So I'm starting from the bottom where the brow would end and then draw outwards. Again, I'm always drawing in the direction my hairs are growing. So especially at the tail of the brow, you have hairs growing upwards and downwards. So I do strokes in both directions. And I might do a little bit in the front, but not too much. The good thing about this, because it's a liquid, if you end up getting a line that's a bit too sharp, you can just run your finger over it and kind of fade it out a little bit. But when it dries, it stays on really well. I have a beauty spot, or a mole, or whatever you call it, at the end of my brow. So usually when I do my brow, the line or lines or the hairs that I create will go straight through it. So if it looks like I have a massive blob here or anything, it's not my brow product. It's just my lovely little mole. Moly, moly, mole. I don't really mind it that much, but sometimes when I've asked people if my brows look even, they're like, oh, but you have a blob there. And I'm like, no, it's not a blob. It's just me. So here I felt like it got a bit too strong, so I'm just running my finger over it to soften it a little bit. So very, very easy to use. It's a bit more time consuming, but it's still easy. You have a lot more control. I feel like with pencils and with eyeshadows sometimes they tend to go on a bit strong, and especially if you're going onto areas where you might not have that much hair, it won't stick as well. So I feel like going in on areas where you don't have that much hair with this is a lot easier than a lot of other products, in my opinion. Like with this, technically you don't have to use a shadow with it. I'm just picky and I want it softer lately. But technically you could only use this and a brow gel, and that's all you would need. You wouldn't have to use a separate brush or anything like that. Like up until probably this week I have been using it alone. I've just wanted it a bit softer lately and I wanted to try something new. And so last but not least, I will be putting a bit of gel in my brows. And as I've mentioned in my last video, I'm out of brow gel, so I'm actually just using normal gel. It works just as fine. If it weren't for the fact that it's unpractical to carry around, I would probably just use that. So I'm just using the spoolie end of my brush and just dipping it into the gel. So I'm just like using this. And so I comb this against the hairs, and what kind of ends up going way outside of the shape that I want, I will comb back down. But then all of them will lie in the same direction. And so even just putting a bit of brow gel through your brows, even when not wearing product in them, except for that, will just help them look a bit cleaner and nicer. So that's basically it for my brows. Again, I really like this. You have a lot of control with this, because you can kind of tell by each individual hair that you draw how much more you would need. So you have more control. It might be more time consuming, but again, more control, and I think that the result all in all is better. But there's a lot of things that works. You can use eyeshadow, you can use a pencil. It's again a matter of preference. So I might change it up eventually and do something else, because it's just makeup. You can remove it if you don't like it. If you have any questions about products I've used or would like to ask for any tips, please ask. I will have everything listed in the description box. You can also find my Instagram there if you'd like to follow me there. And so yeah, hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye!